Taupo District Council full council meeting. Firstly, I will call for apologies. Councillor Henson, do I have a mover? Seconder. Seconder, Councillor Johns, all in favour?
Aye.
Okay, just before we go to the first agenda item, the in the middle of the floor there is not quite finished yet. It will have wheels on it eventually, so I'm sorry to you down the back there. When we've had presentations, we'll push it to one side. We've, as you can see, reorganised the chamber a little bit for the public to be able to view presentations better, more efficiently, but we didn't have time to put the wheels on to remove it after the presentation. So if it's in your way after the presentation, just please spread around. Firstly, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Lake Waterways an action group here today for the first presentation, being agenda item number 1, Mr. Paul White and Ms. Jane Penton. I see you here, and anybody else, or have I got the two right? Just the two? Welcome, and come forward, and welcome to the council. Sorry? Yeah, yep. You're the christeners. Well, it's synonymous with water, isn't it, boats?
Lakes and Waterways, or LWAG, aims to be a leading advocate for the protection of Lake Taupo and its waterways and of other local catchment environments. We've been active for something like 10-15 years and have been pretty vitally involved in the Lake Taupo Protection Project, also known as as Environment Waikato Variation 5, those with the legal bent, and I believe that was signed off a couple of weeks ago by the legal system, so that's really quite wonderful. So Lake Taupo itself, of course, is something that we're very concerned about. Here's some of the goals that our group has. So we seek enhancement of water quality within the Lake Taupo catchment, that's the lake and its catchment. We seek also to unite people for the benefit of protecting Lake Taupo's natural environment, and we're an advocate for sustainable development thinking with respect to any development within the catchment. In regards of some environmental groups, they take a fairly sort of, I guess you could say, antagonistic issue towards people of a different ilk. We're not quite like that. So we're a trust, Lakes and Waterways Action Group Trust. The membership of the trust includes farmers, local interested people, and those with environmental interests. So we aim to hold monthly meetings, and those are advertised in the Taupo Times. Typically we'd have anywhere between 10 and 60 people attending the meetings depending on the talks, and here's just a list of the talks that we hosted in 2010. And so May, Forestry, June, Environment Waikato, July, TDC, August was a general discussion on low nitrogen land uses. September had Mike Barton and the Lake Taupo Protection Trust with Graham Fleming, who's the CEO, talking, and October had Tūwhare Toa, in November EW about their policy, and similarly for 2011. So I hope you get the feeling that we have a good range of interesting speakers and some pretty useful discussions for those that come along. So part of our role is advocacy, and we're typically involved in submitting to annual plans and regional plans. This year was no different. So 2011, 2012 TDC annual plan, we've submitted on that. Also the EW annual plan, the Environment Waikato regional policy statement. They've got some new new redraft of their water policies coming up, and we also submitted on Taupo District Council's landscape, excuse the spelling of the typo there, and natural values plan change with some comments. We're involved in a couple of groups. So Taupo Nui Tia 2020 Action Group, that's kind of like an umbrella group which aims to look at quite a range of actions to do with protection of Lake Taupo water quality across numerous organisations that have a stake, if you like, in Lake Taupo water quality. For instance, Department of Conservation is there, Tūwhare Ratoa are there, etc., etc. And each of those groups have specific actions in their 10-year plans, sort of sorted out a couple of years ago, with regard to protection of Lake Taupo water quality. We're also involved in communicating Lake Taupo Protection Trust activities to the local community, and we're involved in visiting and sort of promoting monitor farm field days. So monitor farms are farms that are like model farms in a way for various sort of land use change and land use change options in land management. So pretty important for that. Pretty important for the quality of Lake Taupo. That's why we're involved in those. Advocacy. So we typically submit on development AEEs, environmental assessments, and commonly our message are to request nitrogen budgets for all developments. Try to ensure that as much as possible developments are consistent with the Lake Taupo Protection Project, and we're pretty keen that developments include best practice for wastewater and stormwater treatment, together with adequate monitoring and maintenance programs. So some environmental highlights, if you like, for Taupo this year, we think. So environment Waikato Variation 5 is through the legal system, 17th of June 2011. We'll be having a party sometime, you'll be welcome. This really is very important for us. So some of our members have been involved in this for 10 to 15 years, and it's just wonderful to see that finally progressing through the legal system. Lake Taupo Protection Trust is doing various land deals, and I'm pretty encouraged by what they're achieving. TDC is monitoring stormwater quality, that's great. TDC Township Wastewater Treatment Improvement started last year, and TDC support for the Enviro Schools facilitated through Enviro Waikato, and increasing low impact design work by TDC. Lakes and waterways issues going forward. Lake Taupo Protection Project needs to maintain forward momentum, so we have the legislation, we have the funding. We are concerned that the funding is not sufficient. It's an issue to do with land values. Lakes and Waterways has been trying to help with sort of creative solutions. So one is recognition of good environmental stewardship. So Lakes and Waterways have played a role in Department of Conservation reducing nitrogen discharge from leased land, and we're hoping to this 2011-2012 to have a meeting like a conference associated with low nitrogen land uses, which we've discussed. I think we presented that on our submission to the TDC annual plan, and also our submission to the EW annual plan, and we'll be talking to Graham Fleming, the CEO of the Lake Taupo Protection Project, in the next week or so about that. There's some interest from them too.